Today, I'm super geeked, you guys. I'm super excited. I have another wonderful, gorgeous female entrepreneur on the show, Miss Nigeria Jones. Hey, boo, how you doing?
Hello, doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on the show. So, before I give her before I allow her to introduce herself, I'm just gonna hype her up a little bit, you guys. Okay. So, Nigeria, she is a certified sexologist, love and relationship coach. Okay, I see you. I see you. She also is a proud member of the LGBTQIA plus. I got all the letters. I'm so proud. And she believes in holistic health and exploring many methods of healing. Now, Nigeria, can you give us a little bit more information about you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hello, everyone. Once again, thank you, Leslie, for having me. I'm Nigeria. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Virginia. I'm also a nationally certified counselor. Once again, a sexologist. I have a couple of different certificates, including the master sexpert, the relationship coach, and the love coach. I'm also an advanced Reiki practitioner for those who enjoy energy healing. And so I'll be actually getting my master teacher one here soon.
Oh my.
Um, I know, right? So, a little bit about the business. I am the owner of Sexcel Coaching, and so we specialize in really helping people just explore, become educated, and really just celebrate sex positivity. We want to create a space where they can really excel at love, be able to have an amazing sex life, be confident, and have a good relationship with whoever it is they would like to be with.
See, this is why I wanted her on the show. This right here, all of that like love and positivity. So can you tell us when you were a little girl, did you say, "Hey, I want to be a therapist," or did you have another career in mind at first?
Oh, this is so funny. I wanted to be a pediatrician. That was the
Okay.
first job that I wanted. And then in the 11th grade, I got the chance to go to like a medical camp. It was like on a scholarship, and they have a whole bunch of different high schoolers come together and be able to look at surgeries, look at like the medical field. And then I realized through that that I don't really care for children.
They
They're
are
they're
an
just not my
acquired
jam.
taste.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. They're not my jam. And so after that, I thought about like, okay, what comes really easy to me? And it was therapy because people have been asking for advice and guidance literally my entire life.
That's awesome. So you went straight into it. You went straight to school for it.
I did psychology and sociology. Then for my master's, went to clinical mental health counseling and then getting my license. So straight through.
So how did the Reiki and becoming a sexologist, how did that go into there? Like, did you originally want maybe to have a private practice and then just through your learning of like the different forms of training that you can do, you're like, "Ooh, I like this field more." How did that happen?
Yes. So I've always really, really been intrigued by human sexuality, especially as a
Mhm.
woman. We do not get a lot of education in that area. We're not
That
taught
part.
about our bodies, right? We're not taught about, what a healthy relationship looks like. And I didn't have a lot of good examples growing up. So that just kind of enforced it. For Reiki, actually, my family is very spiritual. We're very in touch with our ancestral roots. And really, I was scrolling one day and it popped up, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And so I consulted with a few people and kind of left it for like a year. And
Mm.
then randomly one day searched for it and found my teacher.
Well, that's
Rest
awesome.
is history.
You know what? Listen here, internet. We like you.
Right. They listen.
They do. Something that I wanna touch on that you spoke on. I agree with you. I feel like women in general, like, we're not really taught about ourselves, and we're not
Mhm.
definitely taught about our bodies. I feel I don't know, have you had this experience of there are certain TV shows that I was in love with, like the whole like WB lineup. I was like, "Yes,
Mhm,
I want this type of love." And then I got
mhm,
older and I was like, "That was not a good type of love." Like he treated her terribly. And
mm,
she was always looking for something. And so I feel like we don't get that at home. Like we might not have the best examples, and then we see things on TV, and then we get into relationships that are not what we expected them to be. So, what type
mhm.
of clients come to you? Are they the people that have been disillusioned, like I just said, or who are the type of people that you serve?
Yes. So mostly women and mostly
Mhm.
Black women.
Okay.
A lot of the times they're coming in and they're needing help with self-esteem or body positivity, or they feel like they are the problem in the
Mm,
relationship and that something is wrong with them. There is something medical or mental going on with their libido, for example. Like they just have a low sex drive biologically.
mm.
And what ends up happening is that either there are a lot of barriers in their life, such as children, jobs, making sure the house is clean, or there is terrible communication problems in the relationship, or unfortunately, they've lost attraction to their partner. It's very rarely a medical issue.
I feel like that's so much to unpack.
Mhm. It is. It
It
is.
is, it is. But I mean, that's exactly why we're happy that you're doing the work that you're doing because
Mhm.
I sat back one day and I thought, I was like, thinking about my grandmother's generations,
Mhm.
and then even my mother, and I'm like, I'm a millennial, so it's not so far
Mhm.
removed, and just seeing all the things that they went through and seeing women today really are, more empowered. I would say my mother and my grandmother, they were like, don't do this, don't do that, make sure you go get your education.
Mhm.
um, Even my father, they were very big on he was like, "Don't get married until you're almost 30." And so
Love it.
and at first I was like, "But I'm lonely," you know?
Mhm.
But he both of my parents were very big on, knowing yourself, having things together because they're like, "It we didn't have the tools that you have now.
Mhm.
So learn as much as you can about relationships and yourself before you get into one. Like heal your trauma before you get into one, because that would have saved your mother and me like so much trauma,
Mhm.
and we're sorry that we, caused it for you as well, sort of thing.
I
Yeah.
love that your parents are that they said that. It's not often that parents kind of can sit and tell you where they went wrong and, what
Mhm.
they did right and what you need to do in the future. There's still quite a bit of denial happening
Oh,
in
yeah.
our older generations, and they're working through it. They're trying, and I love that for them. But, whew, as a millennial, we really get to see both sides of things.
Yes. So in my marketing, one of the things that I talk about a lot is generational marketing. So
Mhm,
a lot of times when you're just starting out marketing, you might hear advice of your customer persona, like who are
mhm,
they? How old are they? Like what demographic are they in? And that can, even though that's a great starting point, it's not the only thing that you should look at. I'm always talking about generations. So if your ideal customer is 45 with 2.5 kids and she lives
mhm.
in the suburbs, then just by knowing her age, you know what generation she's in. You know that
Right.
she is a Gen Xer. And once you know that, you know what they value. And
Mhm,
once you know what people value, you're actually able to talk to them. So when it
mhm,
comes to your practice, like when it comes to like marrying, like marketing and just what you're doing, do you find that when you're hearing somebody, do you look for like what it is that they value so that you can actually like speak to their hurt and help them on their
mhm.
healing journey? Or how do you go about this in your practice? Not even necessarily marketing wise, just like you seeing the
Mhm.
person.
Okay, yes. Well, marketing wise, I would love to say that I reach all ages, but that is just not the case. It's typically people in their 20s and 30s. But in private practice or in my coaching business, it's much easier because I do have quite a bit a background in human development. And
Mm,
so I'm able to kind of see the stages of life and where that person is at. And then because of that, you do know what their values are. And I do get to kind of speak on that. And of course, I'm young, I'm 28. And so I always preface with, I know that I'm younger than you and I can never be in your shoes, but I can empathize. And then
mm.
typically after that, they're good and we're bonding.
And you're smart. You're smart to say that. So what demographic, do you normally cater to and market to?
I would say that the most I've been seeing is women who are in between 20 to 40. And
Mhm,
typically, once again, it's about body positivity. It's about them really wanting to spice up things in the bedroom.
mhm.
I don't get a lot of people who are having medical issues or who are having deeper issues than that. And the reason for that, I believe, is that sex is taboo and they are not wanting to say exactly what's going on.
Right. That makes sense. So with your demographic of you said 20 to 40-ish?
Mhm.
20? Okay. So how is it when you're talking to the ones that are in their 20s compared to the ones that are in their 40s?
That's a great question. When I'm talking to people who are in their 20s, it's a little bit more bubbly. It's a little bit more, playful, kind of playing on the fact that we still snicker at things like, regarding sex.
Mhm.
And then with the more mature ladies, typically it's more of a professional standpoint. And so it's statistics, it's education, it is making sure that I'm being empathetic and acknowledging the barriers they go through as they get older since they do have 2.5 kids, husband, whatever the case may
Mhm.
be.
And see, you just went straight back into generational marketing.
I try.
No, it's so true because you have to speak somebody's language in order for them to understand you. So,
Mhm,
when it comes to any profession that you're in, when you're learning to market yourself, everybody, when they first start out, they're like, this is for everybody, like therapy, help, it's
mhm,
for everyone. And
mhm.
yes, it 100% is, but your business might be more catered to a certain demographic at a certain time, right? Especially
Yes.
in your field right now. So the
Mhm,
fact that, you are in your late 20s, you can still, you understand a bit more of what's going on, with people that are in their 20s. You definitely have the education and the background as well that will help you when you get to the older generations, right? Because
mhm,
definitely boomers and Gen Xers, like boomers especially, even though like you say that you're not necessarily working with them like completely right
mhm.
now because they're like, taboo, I don't know. Um, they're the ones that like they want your credentials, and Gen
Right.
Xers are the ones that they have been managers and they want to know that before they open up to you, they're like, "What are your stats?" Okay,
Right.
cool. They're like, "All right, fine. Now I can talk to you. It's great. It's
Mhm,
wonderful." They're a bit more open than their parents are when it comes to
mhm,
that. But what I do enjoy is the fact that a lot of the guests that I've had on this show, they talk about how this was not their first choice, whatever career it is, whatever they're coming on to represent, like their business, and they had to pivot. And you
mhm,
did the same thing, but you were able to do it at a much younger age. You said,
mhm,
"Oh, here's a study. I actually don't like children." Um, and I have decided that this is not for me. So
mhm.
I want to applaud you for that because a lot of people, they are either too scared to move forward or
Right.
they're just like, well, this was the plan and I just have to stick with it. And they're not trusting their gut because maybe they're younger and they just
Mhm.
haven't learned how to do that yet. But you
Right.
were able to go and pivot into the career that you want. And so, what is something? What is something that you wish you knew about this career and this type of business before you started? What advice would you give someone?
Oh, goodness. The advice I would give someone, and I think this is the most important one, is work-life balance.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people feel like, oh, well, you're just talking to people. And you are. And I love to do it. I can talk all day. But the mental exhaustion that comes from helping people process what's going on in their life it's a lot to handle. And a lot of the
Mhm.
times I get very, very tired. I'm a person that takes on emotion very easily from other people. And so if I do not have work life balance, I'm not resting, if I'm not taking care of myself, I will be out of commission after a month or two.
Mhm. And what are some things that you have done to create that work-life balance?
Oh, the first one, and they taught us this in middle school, is to have your planner and organize. I've
Mm.
gotten away from it, but I'm coming back. That's my goal for 2023 is you need to organize Nigeria. And so having your planner, making sure that you're just taking out at least 5 minutes a day for self-care and then
Mhm.
doing a big self-care activity such as going to the movies or, getting your hair done on the weekend.
Yeah.
So just making sure that not only are you working, but you're resting and you're doing things that you love and make you feel good too.
Have you found that you have days as an entrepreneur where you're like, "This sucks. I'm terrible at this. It's not what I thought it would be." And then you go take a nap and then you wake up and you're like, "I can do this. I can do this again."
Yes, and ironically, it's gonna be when I'm trying to work on marketing stuff. Social media is very difficult. You have to really post very consistently, and man, is it a lot.
Yes, it is. So tell me, what are you doing right now for your marketing?
Okay, so I have a TikTok account, I have Facebook, Instagram, and then I just started a Twitter. And so I try to go through and have like, those cute posts and, have a little blurb or caption that's one kind of promoting my business, but also two talking about a topic that's relevant and important. I try
Mhm.
to make TikTok videos and interact with people. And then a lot of the times I'm just like saying little random things whenever I feel the need to. And so that's been helping a little bit. My followers are coming in, but it could use some help.
It can use some help.
Right.
Well, let me give you some advice right now, and the audience some advice right now. Um, I'm bringing it back to generational marketing. Here's my thing. If you since your demographic is younger, they're in their 20s and they're in their 30s, then
Hmm.
they are definitely more on TikTok and Instagram, and
Right.
they might even be on Snapchat, hello, and definitely YouTube.
Hmm.
So those are more like video, is
Hmm.
does a lot better with them, because they're not really necessarily gonna sit and read this whole article. So
Ooh.
more than even Twitter. So I would
Mhm.
say people definitely are on Twitter, and when you say, like, you have your random thoughts and your blurbs, that makes sense for that as well. But if you are looking at who actually talks to you more,
Mhm.
then you want to be on those other sites. You wanna be on Instagram, you wanna be on TikTok, and you wanna stay in stories because people like the
Mhm.
short format as well. But what's great is when people love you, like when people start liking your stuff, they're going to go start looking for more of your things, right? So if
Mhm.
you have some sort of business page or a website, even if you don't have like a whole thing together, even if you have like a Facebook business page and you,
Mhm.
post things on there like a few times a week, that's great. And that could be you take a video that you did and then you write, a longer post about that, and then they can go and scroll and read that. That's good because that helps the older generation and, and not even super old, but like people in their 40s and up,
Mhm.
they're okay because now they can see your expertise. Something else that is good when you are creating video content is go online and look at the top 10 questions that people normally ask. about this
Ooh.
profession.
Mhm.
Look at the commonalities of your patients that you've had, your clients that you've had, and see the things that they're always bringing up and talking about. And you're like, wow, people are really going through it, and start making videos on those things. You know, advice that you wish that you had as a young girl, things that you do to get your work life balance. And what's great is if you have 10 different things, now those are 10 different videos. And depending on how big the answer to a question is, then that's like a two-part or a three-part video. So now what you can do is you can honestly take a weekend and you can record a 1 to 3 minute video, and it doesn't even have to be that much. It could be 15 seconds, honestly.
Mhm.
15 seconds to 3 minutes, we'll put it there.
Okay.
And you can answer those questions, and now you have them all saved on your phone. And then what you can do is you can either every single day,
Mhm.
put out a video when you're talking to people, or if you are, if you have like a business page or something on like Facebook or Instagram, you're able to schedule posts because Facebook owns Instagram. So you're able to schedule ahead and it's free. You don't even have to go with like Loomly or anything else like that. And
Mhm.
now you've created posts for yourself in one weekend, and you basically have created things for an entire month, and you basically only have to come back and just interact with people. Now you just get to answer questions that people might have put out there, but it's showing
Mhm.
your expertise, it's giving you consistency, and it's also speaking specifically to the generations that most likely come to you at this point in your career. Yeah.
Mm. See, this is why you're the expert. That makes complete sense, complete sense. I
You
do
know
get
no, go on, sorry. We're interviewing you. We are
I'm
interviewing you.
sorry. I was just gonna say that when I think about the most engagement, it's definitely when I post videos and when I'm interacting, like, on TikTok,
Mm.
for sure, so that makes total sense.
Yeah. And so, like I've said before, like when we met and we were talking, like I put out a call on TikTok and I was like, hey, looking for new business owners,
Mhm.
because the truth is, I know that networking is extremely important.
Right.
A sucker for somebody's story. I'm just like, tell me what happened, what's going on in your life. But not just that, there is so much that I can learn from you, and I learn from every single guest that comes on this show.
Right.
So, allowing yourself to be seen, especially on social media, is such a big thing. And right
Mhm.
now, the field that you're in, everybody's going to therapy, at least the younger generation is. And the older generation, their kids are just like, Mom, you need to go to therapy. Mom, mom,
Yes.
that's trauma. That's just
Mhm.
how it was, and it was abuse. That's not okay,
Right,
you
exactly.
know? And so they're starting to get their feet wet. So people are looking for ways to deal with whatever it is they're going through. But when it comes to sex and body image and all these things, I feel like as women, like we are told so many times a day that we're not good enough, you know?
Mhm.
And so when you look at things on TV or in magazines or on the internet and you don't see yourself and you don't see somebody who looks like you and they're not your size, they're not your shape, they're not your shade of skin, it does affect you. And especially when
Absolutely.
you're looking for a mate
Mm.
and being able to be confident and talk to someone, that takes time. I mean, I'm in my mid 30s and I feel like what the life that I expected to have in my 20s is what I'm having in my 30s. And
Yes.
so I feel like my 20s were my glorified teen years. I'm just going to say that, like you're still
Yes.
growing. Like your
Mhm.
brain hasn't even fully developed yet. So you're getting there, and then in your 30s you're like, "Okay, I like myself. I got this." And as
Mhm.
I inch towards 40, I'm actually super excited about it.
Mm,
I was just
mhm,
like, aha, look, girl, please. Like, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, took it back. I don't need you, you know? So we're in great places. So I just want to commend you for everything that you are doing and keep up the work. And it is a fight to be heard. But
mhm,
once you find your niche, which you've already found, and once you know who your customers are and the generation that they're in, then you know how to market to them. And now you know these are the channels that they're on.
mhm.
um, do also longer formatted videos that you can upload to YouTube.
Okay.
Um, and in the very beginning, because if you don't have anyone helping you with your social media, honestly, do not go above 2 platforms. It's too
Okay,
much.
that makes it
It
is.
it's too much, and each one has
Absolutely.
its own algorithm, each one has its
Mhm,
own way, like, their own nuances. I always tell everybody, like, for the most part, stick with Facebook and Instagram at the very
mhm.
beginning because one owns the other. You can post on both, like, very easily. If you're
Right.
doing any sort of marketing budget, you can spend $10 and reach, like, 3 to 5,000 people a day just
Mhm.
running an ad, and I'm like, "It's beautiful, it's so lovely, use it." Um, so before we, end any of this, what are your social handles so people can find you?
Oh, yes, of course. So you guys can reach me at the Sex Hell Coach. And so that is TheSexHaleCoach, the Sex Hell Coach.
A, and I'm also gonna have all of that in the show notes as well. Um, Nigeria, thank you so much for being on the show today. Before we close out, is there anything else that you would like the audience to know about you, your business, or anything?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me once again. This has been really, really great. I appreciate all of your tips and your advice. Um, the thing that I want the audience to know, really just message me if you have questions.
Mm,
If you are curious about a program or you're wanting to know what may be the best fit for you, message me so I can give you your options so we can talk about it a little bit and we can figure out what service is going to be right for you if you're interested in receiving them. That's the easiest way.
that is perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, family, for tuning in to Leslie and Lily. Be sure to tune in next time. And also, if you are looking for any marketing services, make sure that you look at my website, www.lilyrosedma.com. Also, I have a marketing program for people who maybe they can't afford the services, but they want to do the self study. And that is on my website as well under marketing goodies. And if you are signed up for my newsletter, you get a coupon for half off the program. So sign up. That's all I got to say. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Hugs and kisses. Bye.